Hi, I'm Yahya and welcome to Fat Loss 101. Today we're going to talk about what the basic steps are that you can take towards losing body fat while maintaining lean muscle mass. A common mistake that people often make is losing weight instead of fat. So they do end up losing weight on the scale, but in reality, the inches don't come off. They don't lose weight off their waist, off of flabby arms, and other parts of the body that tend to hold on to fat. So what's the difference between fat loss and weight loss? If you've recently lost weight and you're wondering whether you lost muscle weight or fat weight, one of the best ways to check is to use something called the jiggle test. Simply put, the jiggle test is you hold your arm out and you jiggle it and study the sort of movement that it takes. If the movement is soft, saggy, and flabby, you've lost muscle weight. If the movement is tough and you can see that it's hard, then chances are you've lost fat. So how do you go about losing fat? Should you go on a salad diet? Should you go on a starvation diet? Should you be doing cardio for 2 hours a day? Absolutely not. What you need to do is you need to calculate your total metabolic rate, which is the total amount of calories that you burn in any given day. Now, be wary of knowing the difference between BMR and TMR. BMR, or basal metabolic rate, is the amount of calories that you would burn if you were to spend the whole day just lying on a bed and let your metabolism do the burning for you. TMR, on the other hand, is the total metabolic rate. These are the total amount of calories that you would burn in a given day doing what you do on a normal day. So for somebody like me, I do cardio in the morning, then go to work, I work out in the evening, I have a certain amount of calories. My TMR would maybe be 3,500. My BMR, on the other hand, might be 2,000 or 2,500 because this would not factor in what I do in my daily routine. So the big secret formula to fat loss is to figure out your TMR and reduce the total calories that you consume by 10 to 20%. That's all. Now, a lot of people are going to wonder, should you reduce the carbohydrates or should you reduce the fat or should you reduce, how to go about it? No. What you need to reduce is total calories. So let's say you're consuming about 2,000 calories in a given day. You can take it down to between 1,800 to 1,600 calories a day. I would personally recommend 1,800. The lower, the lesser incremental changes that you make in your diet, the better the chances of your body continuously losing fat are. Any sort of major, any sort of drastic change usually puts your body into shock and you stop responding. And the best way to lose fat is to keep slowly and gradually making changes in your nutrition as well as your workout to keep the body burning fat at regular intervals throughout the duration of the program. A very common mistake that people tend to make when they're starting out on their fat loss journey is doing excessive amounts of cardio or eating very, very low calorie meals. So if they're supposed to be eating 1,800 calories, what they'll do is try to take a shortcut and consume maybe 1,000 calories. The assumption being that the less you eat, the faster you're going to lose fat. Similarly, there's a lot of folks who, if they're supposed to spend 20 minutes on the treadmill, will end up spending an hour on the treadmill, again assuming that the more time you spend working out, the more fat you're going to lose. That is not the case. This is usually counterproductive and actually halts the body's mechanism to burning fat as opposed to speeding it up. What you're supposed to do is give your body the minimum amount of stimulus that it requires to enter a fat burning zone and let the body burn the fat from there onwards. Cardio doesn't burn fat. Working out doesn't burn fat. It's the rest of the day, it's what you eat the rest of the day that allows you to burn fat. It's how you sleep at night that allows you to burn fat. It's how hydrated you are that allows you to burn fat. Spending an hour on the treadmill versus spending 20 minutes on the treadmill, by and large, is not going to matter in the grander scheme of things. What it is going to do is get your body used to a higher cardiovascular stimulus in a shorter amount of time. Simply put, your body is going to get used to 45 minutes of cardio, without which it is not going to move from status quo. So if there's two individuals, one starts with 15 minutes of cardio and the other starts with 45 minutes of cardio, the individual doing 15 minutes of cardio can increase their cardio every week or 2 weeks and keep dropping fat for maybe 2 months. The individual who begins with 45 minutes of cardio is going to have to go up to an hour and a half of cardio to get the same result. Which individual would you rather be? Personally speaking, I think doing the least amount of work, doing the least amount of exercise and making the smallest amount of nutritional changes yield the longest results which are sustainable. Because fat loss isn't going to happen in a week, it's going to happen in a couple of months. And you don't want to absolutely kill your body by spending 3 hours in the gym and cutting your calories down to maybe under 1,000 calories where you have nothing left to drop to further lose weight. My advice, stick to the basics, do the minimum amount possible and stick with it. So for fat loss, consistency is more important than intensity. This is a very important concept. Most people think the harder you go at it, the faster you're going to burn fat. Absolutely not. It's a slow and steady journey for fat loss. The more aces you have up your sleeve, the more opportunities you will have to continue dropping fat. This brings us to our next point, which is what sort of foods you should eat. I'm going to be providing you an entire list of foods that you can consume, but basically speaking, stay away from anything which is processed, anything which comes in a box or a can or a polythene bag. Chances are these products are so refined and they have so many chemicals in them that your body's hormonal functions are not going to be optimized if you continue to consume such food products. I would recommend natural whole foods which are the best for your body. When it comes to vegetables, I'd say go with raw as much as you can. The more you cook a vegetable, the more it loses its nutritional properties. As far as cardio and working out is concerned, for those of you who do no cardio, I would suggest getting up in the morning and starting with maybe 15 minutes of cardio on an empty stomach. And then after you finish cardio, stay hungry for another half an hour and then start with breakfast. This is going to help you burn fat because you're doing cardio in a fasted state. And it's going to push you into a fat burning zone for the next 4 to 6 hours. Similarly, for workouts, for those of you who are not working out, I would suggest starting with maybe 30 to 45 minutes of a very basic workout. Don't kill yourself, no need to lift very heavy. Just make sure you've got decent intensity and that's all you need. So if you work out in the evening, this will again push your body into a fat burning zone for roughly 6 to 8 hours. So combined, you're pushing your body into a fat burning zone for a total of maybe 16 to 18 hours in a day. That's heavy stuff. That's what you need. More aspects that you need to consider are sleep and hydration. If you're trying to burn fat, the more you sleep, the more it's going to help you. Shoot for 8 hours at least. I know there are certain individuals who don't need that amount of sleep, but for the majority of us, if you're exercising and you're losing weight, rest and recovery is more important and you need more time for that. So I'd suggest 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Similarly, for water, make sure you're very well hydrated. If you're working out, you need to consume more water during cardio, during fasted states. You need to make sure that you're very well hydrated throughout the day. Believe it or not, water does help speed up the fat burning process by optimizing hormonal levels, by speeding up the entire fat mobilization process. Now that I've told you about your foods, I'm going to speak a little bit about macros or macronutrients. So there's two types of nutrients. You have micronutrients, which are all the vitamins and all the minerals that you get from your greens and from supplementation. Then there's macronutrients. Broadly speaking, macronutrients are divided into 3 categories: protein, carbohydrates, and fat. All 3 are sources of fuel, and all 3 are used in different areas. Now, I know there's a lot of macronutrient ratios and all of them yield good success in a lot of people. But if you're starting out, a very general, a very average macronutrient ratio that you can employ to get good results is 15% of your calories should come from fat foods, 40% of your calories should come from protein, and 45% of your total calories should come from carbohydrate sources. When it comes to carbohydrates, split your carbs into 50% fibrous carbs, which are the greens, all the vegetables, and 50% into starchy carbs. If you stick with the food list, in about 3 to 4 days, you're going to notice a change in your body. Your metabolism is going to speed up. Your sleep is going to become more restful. Your mood will probably become more elevated. You might find yourself being more relaxed, and you might also find yourself getting more alert. This is your body coming back into a state that it's meant to be in, as well as a state which is going to help it burn more fat. So I hope this video has been helpful and informative for you, and I hope this can help you structure a good, efficient, and easy fat burning workout for yourself.